Good evening, everybody. Today is the 29th of November. Welcome to Voice of British Orthodoxy. I am, of course, Rita Lazar. I hope you've all had a very wonderful day. I am just getting the entries in the book ready, in the group chat ready, and then we can start. Right, our first saint of the day is Saint Brendan of Birr. His entire entry is here. I'm going to read from the book. You can read from there, and then I'll read his group chat entry. Saint Brendan, also known as Brendan MacNemain, and then also known as Brandanos, of Birr, and he is from the 6th century. Approximately 13 kilometres, brackets 8 miles, west of Kinnity, County Offaly, is the site of the monastery founded by Saint Brendan of Birr, Irish Brendan MacNemain, c. 540. Though not one of Ireland's most illustrious monasteries, it was the location of the Synod of Birr in 697, at which the Lex Innocentium, better known as the Cain Adamnain, was promulgated, as well as the monastery which produced the MacGregor or Rushworth Gospels, c. 800, which are now housed at the Bodleian Library at Oxford University. Most of what is known today of his life is from St. Adamnan of Iona, as Vita Columba. St. Adamnan we commemorated back on the 23rd of September. Brackets, and then it also says after the Vita Columba, brackets c. 700. As well as mention in some early Irish literature, in which he is portrayed as a man with a natural judgment of character, with magnanimous hospitality, and a reputation for great sanctity and spirituality. St. Brendan began his monastic life as a disciple of St. Finian, bracket, who we will commemorate on the 12th of December, at that great Irish nursery of saints, Clonard Abbey, in present-day County Meath. At Clonard, St. Brendan was one of the group of students who went on to be known as the 12 Apostles of Ireland, and is often known as St. Brendan the Elder, to distinguish him from his better-known namesake and fellow student of Clonard, St. Brendan the Voyager, who we commemorate back on the 16th of May. Despite being one of the lesser-known 12 Apostles of Ireland, St. Brendan was an eminent church figure, as is evident by the epitaph he was given of Prophet of Ireland. His eminence was further demonstrated by his defence of his close friend St. Columba, bracket 9th of June, at the Synod of Meltown, and then it says in brackets, in all likelihood, c. 562. Which prompted the Synod to give St. Columba a sentence of exile rather than excommunication over his role in the Battle of Cuildrabeen. Another consequence of St. Brendan's long friendship and support for St. Columba was the development of close connections between Birr and the various monasteries founded by St. Columba. I'm going to quickly see if there's an icon of him. Forgive me, I don't actually check these things. Which stuff I probably should have done. Wait, is this? Let's see, that's a Voyager. The only icons of Saint Brendan that come up are for the Voyager. Anyway, Saint Brendan reposed c. 572. And at the moment of his repose, St. Columba had a miraculous vision of St. Brendan's soul being carried by angels to heaven. In his Vita Columbae, St. Adamnan of Iona devotes a chapter to this vision, in which St. Columba is quoted as saying, "In this past night I have seen the sky suddenly opened, and companies of angels coming down to meet the soul of the holy Brendan." His group chat entry is St. Brendan of Birr, 571 AD, is in brackets, a contemporary of St. Brendan the Voyager and a disciple of St. Finian at Clonard. His monastery of Birr was in Offaly in Ireland. He was a friend and advisor of St. Columba, who saw the soul of St. Brendan carried by angels to heaven at the moment of his repose. He does have a Troparion, which is sung in tone 8. And it goes as follows. Most glorious ascetic and chieftain of Ireland's prophets, O Father Brendan, thou wast a bright beacon in the West Isle, guiding many to salvation. At thy heavenly birthday the angels rejoiced, and miraculously announced their joy to our Father Columba. The prayers of the righteous avail much to us for us sinners. Wherefore, O Saint, pray to God for us that he will find us a place in the mansions of the Blest. Right. I think this is... our next saint of the day is Saint Egelwine, also known as Ethelwine or Aelwine, and he is from the 7th century. A prince of the House of Wessex, Saint Egelwine abandoned the world and lived in the great holiness as an anchorite at Athelney, Somerset, England. Yes, this is the very Athelney. The group chat entry is Saint Athelwyn of Athelney, brackets, Egelwine or Aelwyn. A prince of the House of Wessex who lived as a hermit at Athelney in Somerset, England, 7th century. And our final entry for today is Saint... Well, okay, our final entry in the book, anyway, is for Saint Sadwen. And he is from the 6th century. Saint Sadwen was the brother of Saint Illtyd, who we commemorated back on the 6th of November, and a disciple of Saint Cadfan, who we commemorated on the 1st of November. As is the case with his brother, nothing known of Saint Sadwen's life and without the existence of churches in Wales dedicated to him. His existence might have been completely overlooked. The era of Saint Sadwen's repose is unknown, though based upon the date of Saint Illtyd's repose, C.505 is in brackets, it is safe to assume he reposed in the early part of the 6th century. The group chat entry says Saint Sadwen, hermit, brother of Saint Illtyd and disciple of Saint Cadfan, and it says in brackets 6th century. He has a Troparion, which is also sung in the plagal 4th tone, also known as mode. The remoteness of the Welsh mountains was thy desert, O Father Sadwen, where thou didst serve God in fasting and humility. May thy continual intercessions avail for us sinners, that our souls may be saved. There is a bonus entry in the group chat, and that is for Saint Gulstan, also known as Gustan or Constans, a monk at Saint Gildas of Ruhis in Brittany, and then in brackets it says C.1010 AD. Sorry about that. May those saints intercede for us before the righteous judge. I've been Rita Lazar, God bless you all, and Amen.